morning. I am Steve Weber. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show, broadcasting on Spirituality Gone Wild and also on the American Gumption Facebook page and the American Gumption YouTube channel. So thank you for watching. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for subscribing, being a member of either Spirituality Gone Wild or the American Gumption Facebook or YouTube channels. All righty. So today is Tuesday, April 20th. Today is show number 159. So we're rolling right along. 159 shows already. Alrighty. So today I'm going to do it's going to be a short show. I'm going to do a monologue, and I'm going to have Brandon Schaefer come in and rejoin us after almost a month absence. When I took my trip, I didn't have Brandon joining in on Tuesdays, but Brandon's been a regular Tuesday morning guest, his simple motivation segment, and that'll be coming up at about 15 or 20 after the hour. I'm going to go ahead and go through my monologue before I bring Brandon on, and then he'll join us, and we'll chat for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up this show. So that's the plan for today. Alrighty. So again, Tuesday, April 20th. Man, April 20th. A couple more weeks, and a week and a half, and the year is a third of the way done. Right, 4 months done already. So man, it's just flying by. Alrighty. So my monologue is the three biggest takeaways from my drive across America. Now I mentioned most of these in different ways over the last couple of weeks as I was actually experiencing the trip. But as here it is a week plus that I've been back and having a little bit of a perspective. And I thought, well, what are the real big three takeaways, or the most important takeaways? So I'm going to list the three biggest takeaways that I feel like I've learned from that drive across America. Plus I have one extra bonus one. So it's a total of four, but three's a good number to promote it with. And we have a bonus one for four. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Alrighty. Before I do that though, let me go ahead and tell you what's coming up. So tomorrow we have a guest, Pamela Jane Durand, and she is a singer-songwriter, poet, speaker, writer, sage, sound alchemist. We're going to talk about the healing power of sound and words and poetry, and so we're going to talk about how Pam has really using her gift in music and singing and songwriting to create healing in the body. It's very much a quantum idea, right? So vibration, it's all about vibration. So that'll be tomorrow's show. Thursday is to be announced. Not sure what's going to happen yet, but Friday I can announce that Anna Homan will be joining us. And Anna is a young lady that I met almost 10 years ago in Montana. She sold me a cell phone back at the Verizon store in Hamilton, Montana. And anyway, I have kept in touch with Anna over the years, and she has started a blog about her travels out in the backcountry, and actually not just the backcountry, but travels around the globe, where she's been going out and solo traveling, and she's got an adventure page, and it's called Adventure Away Travel. So there's going to be some photos from her adventures. It's kind of a Montana thing, but it's also a world thing too. So anyway, that'll be on Adventure Away Travel with Anna Homan on Friday morning. So excited to have that show. That'll be a fun interview. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and just launch right into what are the three biggest takeaways from my drive across America. So are you ready? Number one is Zoom is good, face-to-face is better. This virtual interviewing that I've been doing for the last 8 months has been good. And I kind of deluded myself and said, hey, it's just as good as face-to-face. It works perfect. And so anyway, I'm modifying that based on what I learned. And I'm saying Zoom good, face-to-face is better. And so, I had the opportunity to go ahead and, see people experience people face to face, and it's just a better experience in terms of interviewing them, in terms of getting to know who they are. And like Zoom works pretty good. Zoom's not going away, right? This virtual meeting technology that we've embraced the last year plus during the COVID time is not going away. It's going to exist, but it's not going to replace face-to-face meeting. That's my prediction. That's my belief, based on the fact that you just can learn so much more when you're with that person, even just for a few minutes. I'm reminded of the Malcolm Gladwell 2005 book, Blink. I read it. I was fascinated by it at the time. I thought Malcolm was right on in terms of it. And the subtitle is The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. And he talks about all these different scenarios in the book where something happens where people just know what's going on, with in the blink of an eye, they kind of have, and I don't think it's thinking without thinking. I consider it more like that inner knowing, the subconscious, the quantum field, the connectedness, the sixth sense, that connectedness that we all feel. And so we have our five senses that we use, and thinking is like very much attached to those senses. That inner knowing, that sixth sense, that's really more of a feel or a connectedness. And so anyway, he calls it The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, and that's a pretty good title, but I think it's really more about that instinctual knowing. And so I'm also reminded of the fact that years ago, letters were sent. Think about think about when the country was founded 240 some years ago, when letters were sent across on ships to Europe. And you received a letter and then you sent a reply back. It took months to communicate with it. And then, 100 years ago, maybe it's slightly less than 100 years ago, the telephone really came into being, where you could actually talk to people. And it was like, initially the telephones weren't in every house, and every, you had like, telephone lines that were like doubled up, and people had, I forgot what they called it, but you could pick up the phone and your neighbor could be talking. And so you shared a party line. I think party line is what they called it. And so anyway, letters were the way we communicated. That was good. That was a good initial communication method. Took a long time, slow. And you had to just read the words and you had to interpret it and fill in the blanks. You didn't have much context. Phone call, where you could actually hear the person's voice, made it much better in terms of being able to like hear tonality and enthusiasm, and you could read a little more into it that way. Our current technology of Zoom is better because there's a visual. You can actually see the person. You can see if they're actually paying attention to you, and what they're, you can see some of the stuff that's behind them and get an idea of who they are and that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people are using, Zoom calls for, healing, vibrational healings and connectedness that way. And that's all cool. And I believe that all is very possible. And that's where I say Zoom is good. And I'm using Zoom generically because it could just be, whatever type of platform we use to communicate with each other this way, both visual and audio. So it's an enhanced phone call, right? It's a video call, and then face-to-face is really the ultimate. And so, you just learn so much more about a person face-to-face. You just see the environment they're working in. You understand the nature of who they are. You get a vibe. You get the vibe. You can pick up that vibe so much easier. Your senses are all working. You're seeing things. You're hearing things. But you're also, you're using that inner knowing, or that blink that Malcolm Gladwell talked about. So that's lesson number one from my takeaway: is Zoom good, face-to-face is better. Zoom is here to stay, but it's not going to replace face-to-face. When people do business with each other, if it's any kind of an important deal, everybody's going to end up meeting face to face before they actually, do a handshake or sign a contract, because, it's just too important. You can get started and you can do certain things over the video call, but there's something about face to face that's better. So Zoom good, face to face better. That's number one. Number two is tech upgrade. I'm calling it tech upgrade, and so I went out there on the road with an available set of tech tools, right? I had my laptop computer, I had my iPhone, I had a tripod, I had my iPad, I had another tripod for that. And I thought, hey, I can basically do the show from the road. And that was true. I did do that. But I also realized, and I learned, and my visit to Fort Wayne, and to Lighthouse Studios and Steve Tyler and the conversations we had, I basically learned a whole lot about the technology in terms of what I will want to use as I go forward. So, to achieve what I want to achieve in doing my in-person interviews, and having the ability to show video and to show some pictures and insert graphics and do all that. The TV studios, right, are broadcasting with that type of technology today. And so I don't need I don't need a TV studio, but I do need my own studio, and I do need a better grade of equipment than I'm currently using, and I will end up getting that. And with the help of Steve Tyler, he laid out what it is that I need. I made a full list of it. I haven't researched every item. I haven't committed to any of that yet, but basically I'm committed to the idea that I need to significantly upgrade my technology so that I can with ease produce a much higher quality broadcast consistently and regularly and with ease, and then also have the ability to bring in production companies, outside help as I grow and expand, to work with them. So I don't want to be giving them the type of recordings that I'm currently using. I want to bring them on board with this enhanced quality of technology. So StreamYard and or Restream are both good tools, and they've worked really good, but they're kind of professional grade tools that are a step up above them. And basically you'll have better video and audio quality. You'll have better control over the switching from it. So I have 5 or 6 different controls that I can bring in, sharing my screen, sharing a video. There's tools that will make that even easier and more seamless. But of course, it's more of a professional grade. And I certainly will be adding much more pre-recorded videos in with it. So another kind of a subcategory of tech upgrade is the fact that when I was out there doing interviews, people, I'm meeting someone at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock at night, and I want to do a quick interview. It's not like something that you can turn on and broadcast. I guess you could, but that's not the way I want to do the show. And so I want to do a recording, and then I want to record it live at whatever that time is, 7 p.m., and then take that, do a little bit of editing with it, and then have that available for the next show or for a future show where I just include that in with my live broadcast. I play that pre-recorded segment. So all of that becomes possible and easier to do with this upgraded technology. So, $20,000 to $30,000, something like that. Not like $100,000. Probably not $50,000, but certainly 20 or 30,000 would kind of be able to set me up with a really good system. And so that's what I'll be looking for and adding into my wish list and future needs. So tech number 2 learning lesson is tech exists that will make what I want to do much easier to broadcast and to share the American Gumption programs and shows. All righty. Number 3, so that number 1 was Zoom good, face-to-face better. Number 2 is the technology upgrades. And number 3 is it's time to go. It is time to go. And what does that mean? It means that the country is itching to open up again and get going. And I saw it happening. As I traveled around, I witnessed lots of people kind of like getting out. There's like a pent up demand and people want to go. People were cool. They locked down for a year, but it's time to so that things are starting to come back again. Obviously the vaccines and all of that is happening. And so people are having a greater confidence in it. Regulations are loosening up as far as that. So the timing is really good for me to say, okay, let's go. It's time to go. And, I didn't have that mindset even before I left on my journey, my 3.5-week journey. I basically started this show last August, and I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to just do this virtual show because we ain't going anywhere and we're not going anywhere fast. And so, but now it's time to, it's not 100% open and it'll take time before it opens up. So I'm not saying like, it's like open right now and ready to go, but things are changing and it's time to make sure that I'm ready to go, in the next couple of months. And so where's the time? Fall is where I'm aiming at. Fall of 2021. I want to be out there on the road with all of this, with this upgraded tech and with the RV. So we got to make it happen. So I need to get my sponsors, my business partners, my business alliances in place ASAP. Alrighty. So those are the big 3 lessons I learned. 1, Zoom good. Face-to-face is better. Number 2, time to upgrade technology-wise. Well, I don't have to do it immediately, but in order for me to live and work from the road, it needs to be in place. And then the third thing is it's time to go in terms of the timing to get out there, is sooner rather than later, right? So in the next, the next 3 to 6 months, I'm out there living and working on the road. Finally, the last idea, a bonus idea I have, a bonus idea. All righty. So the American Gumption morning show will evolve into something different. I'll repeat that. The American Gumption morning show will evolve into something new, something different. And maybe it's called the Daily Show instead of the American Gumption Daily Show. I don't know quite yet, but I feel like there's going to have to be some kind of a rebranding to separate what I have been doing for the last 7+ months and what I'll continue to do for the next few months. And once it really goes out on the road, there should be some kind of a tweak and a difference so that it becomes a different show. And maybe the time of the broadcast change. One of the things I learned is that 7 a.m. out on the West Coast when I was out there isn't a very convenient time to be having guests come on. So all you West Coast guests that have been on the show, I have a new empathy. I have a new empathy for your, for your getting up early and me appreciating the fact that you have gotten up early over the last several months to join me, and even Mountain Time, 8 a.m. That's cool. But to prepare for the show and be ready to go at 7 a.m. and produce the whole thing. That wasn't so cool. So, and really the show, and the other piece is that the show is going to be a combo of live and pre-recorded. I talked about that in the tech segment where it's going to be like live. It's going to have more pre-recorded segments where I'm interviewing somebody and then I bring that segment on and just include that as part of the live broadcast. So I don't know, maybe the show airs at I don't know. We're going to figure it out. That's the last thing. So the American morning show will evolve into something new as I move out and I'm living and working from the road. So that's basically it. That's all my 3 biggest takeaways plus the 1 bonus one. So, hey, my goodness, I haven't seen Brandon Schaefer in a month. He probably thought I forgot all about him, but I went out on the road and then it was like Tuesday morning and then it was like 7 a.m. on the West Coast. And man, I did forget about Brandon, not purposely, but just like it wasn't possible. But I haven't forgotten him completely and I'm ready to bring him on board and join us today. Hello, Brandon. How are you? Welcome back, man.
Hey, Steve, how are you doing? Welcome back to you, man. You got a nice haircut going on and everything. Looking good, man. Looking good.
I just gave myself a fresh cut this morning, so
Oh, really? I got to start doing that myself, man. I need to go over and get a haircut now, man. I got stuff. How was your trip?
the trip was great. It was I said it was a beta for living and working on the road. And I kind of announced that in the couple of weeks before I went, I got to just go out and try something and see how this is going to work. And so, what I did today is I talked about really the 3 big lessons I learned from being out there. And it was exactly that. It was a beta. It was an opportunity to go out and try some things. I tried the technology that I thought that I could use and found out that, it's okay, but I need a higher professional grade equipment to do what I want to do. And then the second thing I learned was that face-to-face is not going away. Face-to-face is way better than Zoom meetings. This is pretty good, and I was deluding myself saying in this last year where I went, Zoom's just as good, and it wasn't good. It is good, but man, face-to-face is so much better. You can actually, you just can feel the person when you're the vibration of who they are and who they are all about. So that was a really important thing. And then the last thing was it's time to go, man. The country's opening up. And so I need to get my butt out there ASAP. So the next 3 to 6 months is my time frame for getting out there, living and working on the road. And hopefully you'll come with me and I'll be able to remember to invite you on the road. But after about the second week,
I will meet you on your journey, Steve. I will personally come and fly somewhere and meet you on your journey at one of these destinations. I will not go the entire way with you, but I will meet you somewhere face to face. It's funny because as we're on here, Steve, I'm looking at the actual camera, rather than you, because I want to have eye focus, so it is strange. Like in person is so much better. I know we've been lucky enough to meet in person and break the bread and have lunch and hang out, and you learn so much about somebody so much quicker. It's like when you're there in front of them. And I think that was a great springboard for our relationship today, because you can count on me. I'm a human being just like you. So
Yep. No way. It was good. So hey, let's, I still have the theme song. I still have the Brandon Schaefer theme song. Let's play the theme song. Let's let you do your simple motivation segment, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap it up and we'll chat for another minute or two, and then we'll get out of here. How's that sound?
Yeah. That's all good, Steve.
All right. Let's see here. If I can remember Brandon Schaefer, where is this? I got to put my glass. Here it is. Brandon opening. All right, take it away, Brandon.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here. And my message for today is always be working on life-changing goals. Set some short-term goals, short-term daily target goals, and set some weekly goals, monthly, quarterly, and annual goals. And just drive to them every single day. Not literally drive like Steve. I know he's driving across the country, but just work on reaching those, whatever you can do on that specific day, right? To be the best person you could be, just work on those goals. That's it. I know sometimes we're going to let ourselves down. We're at the end of the day, it's going to be like, hey, I wasn't able to do this. Don't beat yourself up. Just have those goals. What you didn't finish today, finish tomorrow, and then recap, recoup, restart, refresh, rejuvenate, and tomorrow's another day. So that's all I have for today, Stevie.
All right. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. I missed you, man. I missed you.
Yeah. How was the trip?
The trip was really good. It was good for my soul to just be gone for almost a month. And I was busy the whole time because I was either driving someplace which was really cool. The windshield time was just like, for me, it was relaxing. Or I was with people and I was interacting, and I had full schedules when I was with people. So I didn't have like a lot of time to, do any kind of like, editing or planning or thinking. I just was like going and going and going. But it was a great trip. It was really good for my soul to be out there and meeting people again. And most part, people, people are like really respectful of each other and conscious of like, kind of following the rules. But at the same time, like you get on the plane and everybody's jammed together and you're like wearing a mask, but you're like, you're wondering, what is this? Is this more for show or is this really doing anything? You don't know, you don't know what's going on. So anyway, we're out there and we're all being cool, but at the same time, people are like chomping at the bit to just go on with their lives. That was my sense.
Nice, man. So I read your notes, but when you're talking about the technology, why do you're going to go upstream in terms of technology with the camera, like a mirrorless camera or something else like that, and a shotgun mic or shotgun mic or something else? Because I have all that. I find that it takes a lot of wiring. It takes a lot of plugs. I had so many things. I didn't have enough plugs to plug everything. I had this to plug this, to plug this, and the adapters. I was like, what the heck? And the lighting. I'm like, I'm on my phone here today, and the phones work great as well. But to get that real high quality, I'd be interested to see what you come up with and what solutions you go with. Maybe I'll switch up and follow you after you test it out.
I think for the sake of like doing what we're doing right now, where it's a Zoom call or it's using StreamYard and we're just connecting virtually, I don't think the technology is necessary. But for if in the RV, in the bus, when you're sitting down, you have a couple different camera angles, one with like wide angle where it's like both people, and then one where it's facing on the one person and the other, and switching back and forth that way and making all of that work. That's where you really need the better quality, having people mic'd up. And then also, as I begin to share the technology with a production company, then you want to be using a higher grade of recording and audio and video recording so that you can edit it and just work with it a whole lot better. Because this is like a one-shot deal. We're just going live doing it. And the technology would be overkill for that. But when you're trying to produce something that, will really be a broadcast quality product, then you want the better technology. And it exists, and it's not that hard, but you need the right wires, and you need to learn how to do it, and you need to know how the sequencing. So initially, it's like kind of a bigger learning curve.
Wow. And you drove a car out there. So next time you're going to be driving an RV, so you drove a car this initial time. Have you ever driven an RV, like and stuff like that, Steve, or what?
Yeah, I have driven. Like a year ago in March, I ended up going on a trip, and I had the RV for a couple of weeks, and it was a big one and felt like overkill for just me. But I was out in Washington and Oregon right when COVID hit. And so the project I was on ended up getting shut down midway, but I had the RV for an extra week. So I just hung out on the road and drove around and was like wondering what the heck's going on with our country. And anyway, it's all good. I've driven, and what I did, one corrections, I flew out to California and picked up the car and then drove it back.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, sorry, I think my cam went off for a second, but there's the technology. I don't know if my camera went off on your end or not.
It's a little.
Where's the camera? What's going on here? But you never know. You know what, Steve? The best part is just showing up. I always say this, man. It's just, if you don't show up and do what you do on a daily basis, you never know what you want to ultimately do, because you don't know the shortfalls. I know a lot of people, they just want to start, and they want to start off and come out with this excellent, superior product with all this stuff. And, with the perfect lighting and the perfect sound. And in reality, it takes time, man. Like, it's not like a photographer just shows up and like bingo, bongo, bango, here, everything's perfect. At a wedding, they show up early. They have these different types of meters and stuff like that, unless you're outside in kind of the shade or perfect environment where there's no lawnmowers, the guys were cutting grass here today, there's always some like exterior thing that's going to affect you. That's why it's so important for me just to kind of be in the right mindset in the actual morning and realize, like, man, I'm just going to make the most of it with the technology I have and the skills I have and the resources I have today. because we all want to look. Me personally, I want to look like ABC News when I go on TV, but I don't. I look like channel whatever. I'm not going to bash any channel, but
you look like a guy who put on his sweatshirt after he worked out this morning and put a little bit of gel in your hair and you're running around, man. You're making it happen.
That's exactly it, Steve. I'm so happy that you invited me to come on today. And anytime you want me on, if we're going to restart on Tuesdays, that's fine, or whatever your show schedule is. What is your show schedule moving forward? My last question. Do you know yet?
Yeah. So for short term, the show is just going to continue exactly as it's been broadcast, but beginning to bring in some of the other ideas that I've, let me say this. Once I'm out on the road, it's going to be kind of a different format. But until that happens, it'll remain the same format that I've been using. So essentially, I'm doing about 4 or 5 days a week. So roughly Tuesday through Friday, sometimes Monday. Yes, I did a Monday show this week. So anyway, 4 or 5 shows a week, something like that.
Nice. That's a lot. You're committed. You're committed, man. You are amazing, dude. I so appreciate your hard work, man. It definitely inspires me, and you're inspiring the inspirer. So you're doing it right, Stevie.
The one thing I did the last week of the trip, I was out there for 3.5 weeks, and the last week of the trip, I essentially just kind of said, you know what, I'm giving myself a vacation, because it just felt like I was, I was like driving, and I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. So I thought, you know what, rather than just show up and like wing it, I thought, I'll just kind of, took it easy that last week and enjoyed the people I visited with, and then got home and regrouped, and now we're back in the groove. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, there definitely is a pressure. I feel like when I'm not creating content on a daily basis, I do feel some type of pressure, but I've kind of not been creating. I've been writing a lot more, and I think it's good to switch things up, based upon the timing and stuff. And it gives your audience a little bit different of a twist too. If they don't see you every day, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not like I'm a newspaper delivery on their front doorstep where they wake up and want to see it. It's kind of like a supplementary service to their day. And if they see me, they see me. It's not like there's so much pressure. And I know a lot of people that create content feel that pressure, because I hear them say that on different podcasts and stuff. And because it is a constant wheel, it's you always want to be creating that next content. And oh man, it's not an easy world we live in, Steve. That's for sure. It's not an easy. That's why we just keep on going. That's why these Tuesdays help out so much, because I get on here and just reaffirm the way that I'm feeling, and everything that I share, I'm just talking to myself, really, because I'm giving myself a kick in the rear end. That's not 99% of the time, and most of the time we're in sync with everything as well. So it's all good, man. It's all good.
I remember when we had lunch like a year ago in January, and the first time we got to meet face to face. And I remember you said something similar, and I had felt the same thing, that basically the content creation is for for us individually. It's like a reminder of what we're doing. So even though we're like sharing that with others, it's really like, like we're reminding ourselves to just get out there and do it every day. So
100%, man. 100%. So
all right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to play your exit theme song, and then you'll be gone by the time we get by the time the song ends. So thank you, Brandon. We'll see you next time.
Yeah,
okay,
thank you,
take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Brandon Schaefer, for joining me this morning. SimpleBusinessHelp.com. If you have technology that needs to connect with each other, so you have a CRM and you have an accounting package, and somehow those things aren't linking together, SimpleBusinessHelp.com, Brandon's company and his team of geeky people can connect all that and make it work and simplify your life and make things flow smoother. So his business, Simple Business Help, is basically just helping with technology technology, keeping it connected, specifically in the area of sales and marketing and technology. So reach out to Brandon if you need some simple business help with your technology. All righty. Well, that's it. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Thank you for listening. It's good to be, I feel like I'm getting back into a groove. I was, the trip was wonderful and I had some great takeaways from it, but getting back into a groove. Last week was not in the groove. Last week was like just trying to catch my breath after I used the analogy after a hard workout. You're winded and you're trying to catch your breath. That's what last week was like. This week feels like getting back into that groove, and we'll continue that until the American Gumption morning show evolves into something new in the 3 to 6 months, coming months when I'm out there living and working on the road. All righty. Have a great rest of your day. Let me just remind you one more time. Tomorrow, Pamela Jane Gerard, Pamela Gerard is joining us, singer-songwriter, poet, speaker, writer, sage, sound alchemist. We're going to talk about sound healing and the healing power of sound and song and music. So that's going to be a fun conversation. And then on Friday, a friend from my Montana days, Anna Homan, and adventureawaytravel.com. Adventure Away Travel. It's basically her blog of what she's doing to get out in the world and to keep herself healthy. And she was just like sharing some of this on her Facebook page, and people said, hey, you ought to start like your own little website where we can just see all this stuff. And that's exactly what she did. So I'll have some pictures and photos of her adventures over the last couple of years. All righty. That's it. Have a great day. I will see you all. I'll see you all tomorrow.